Hello guys. I was actually going to sketch that out and I thought, well, no, why not? Because we're going to be painting all over everything. So I think we'll get the back of that sky first. And can you guys, I hope you can see it okay. Get it. Hopefully. I can never get that right. There we go. Maybe that's better. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and get that sky in the background done. And then we'll come down and get some of that snow. And then, see, when I sketched this out, I had to, like, think, because my colored pencils was not gonna cover up over top like the paint will on the river or the creek. So we can go willy-nilly on the paints. Give it a rag. So I'm just wetting my blending brush, kind of dampening that back there. If you guys are on a canvas, great. I am on just a piece of painter's paper, so hopefully it doesn't start wrinkling up on me if I overwork it. So I'm just gonna get some grays in there. Because we're thinking of a wintry background. And I really hate that moving so much. But nothing I can do right now. Hopefully that doesn't bug you guys so much. Then I'm going to wet my brush again. Get a little bit more of that same gray, but I'm going to add a touch of blue. Touch of blue. I don't want it really dark. I got it really dark and I don't want it really dark. Of course, your sketches always will turn out a little different than your paintings. You can bring it down a little bit because it's going to be darker towards the bottom. I'm going to clean that out. I'm going to go straight white. A little bit of watery. And blend right over top of that. I don't think I should have pinned my picture so close. Excuse me. I'm getting my brush wet and I'm going back into my white, but I had black on it, and so I gotta wipe that off. It looks really dark on camera, but it's really not. So I'm gonna add some more white to the top and bring it down. I'm gonna leave it just like that. And now we're gonna bring in some snow, but that same gray, we're gonna come in with that same gray that we started the sky with. I need another plate. There we go. I can't all blend everything on one plate. Gets a little crazy. Even though this is really dark, don't freak out. We're gonna be bringing in a lot more snow. If you can paint. Sorry about that. Call was coming in. I meant to decline it, and it actually hit the wrong button. Keep your brush wet while doing this. Your acrylics are gonna flow a lot better. I'm getting this gray down. That's all I'm doing right now. The further away, it always looks a little darker, so don't worry about that. I think I need to scoot this a little bit out. There. Hopefully you can still see it. Okay. All right, now let's add in some white. Let's not, just add in some, your heels. But don't be so specific that it's, and your paper's gonna, or your canvas will dry out a little bit, so keep it damp. Just get some white on there, because I think we will, your river is going to come down through it. All right, now I'm just adding a touch of blue. To the way far back. I think we're gonna, now let's go ahead and add in your river. We put some basics down. All right, so for your river, let's use, if you have one, a 16 round. Let's use that to kind of line that and make the lines. So get it damp. And let's dip it in a black, just the tip. Because you're just gonna make a line. I'm getting it really watery because I'm going to draw a line and I don't want it really thick. All right. So in this picture, I kind of have it like it follows the fence line down and then comes in and starts weaving. So let's just... You can make your shape however you want, okay? You can make your river meander however you want. I think mine is gonna go like that. Okay. And you can go ahead and paint in some blue in there if that helps you. Get that distinction in as water, and it'll separate what you're trying to do over here with the snow. And you can, don't worry about whatever brush you're gonna use. Guys, it's almost like watercolor. Now I'm going in this horizontal. Oh, that's neat. I got a hair in there. Actually, it's a brush bristle. I can grab it. There we go. I'm going in this direction here because that's kind of how I want the water to look like it's flowing, because it doesn't flow down, you know, it's gonna flow across if you really look at a river. I'm weighing that down a little bit so my blue flows a little bit better, and just get it on there. I go all the way out to the edges because we're going to be adding rocks and things like that, so I've got to get a different brush. The round is not doing what I want to do, so let's move to a flat, kind of a larger flat. Get it damp before we go back and do it again. Now, if you want to make sure green's in there already, you can if you want, but I'm just going to get that dark blue down here. That's more what I was going for. All right, let's keep working on that water. I like to keep my colors a little bit separate. I'm just adding a little bit of green in there so it looks a little blue-green. As you can see, a little bit mixed in. Your deeper water is going to look more blue. Along the sides are going to be a little bit more green. We can keep adding blue, and green, and blue, and green. Let's add a little bit of this more brilliant blue. Oh, I got green in there. You can go right up the center with that. It's a, I don't know that it's a lighter blue, but it's more of a cobalt blue. Okay, let's go. Let's do a little bit of your that darker blue. Put a touch of black with that, and let's go ahead and come in from the sides on these curves. Coming up around and bring it across. And this gets darker back here because it is farther away. So you can do don't worry about getting it in the snow because we have to come back and work that snow. So okay. Now let's do a little bit of, I'm going to do a touch of black on here, and I'm going to do these little marks. Like these deeper. Not too many. Now, I might take the hairdryer to that because when I bring in that white, I didn't want it to blend so much with the colors that we already have on there. So now go ahead and get into your white. Let's see. Let's make these little lines like so your water is moving. Just a few touches up in here because it's farther away. I'm going to wipe out my brush. Come in and kind of dry brush over that. All right. Let's see if I have I do. If you have a light blue, let's do a little bit of light blue in there. What I'm adding is chalk paint, so I'm gonna wet it down. I'm still gonna go in. Now don't do it everywhere, but where you want some more extra movement. Go ahead and brush it over if you want, just very, very lightly. Okay. Let's leave it, the water for now, and let's go ahead and start adding in the shoreline or the bank of the river. Oops, I'm knocking over things. So we will probably use a little bit of dark green, black, and white. And let's use your liner brush. You might want to get a couple smaller ones out. Yeah, I think we want to work on that river before we start putting... We'll do the river and then we'll put in that fence line back there. And then we'll add in some more snow, and then we'll start adding in your trees very last. You just want to layer things in there. I'm going to start with the bigger one. I'm just going to go, if you still have gray on your palette, go ahead and use the gray. It doesn't matter if it's a darker gray or lighter gray at this point, because we are just putting in the insides, like the sides of the bank. You might want to go with a darker, I guess. So think about your... I might have to go with my smaller one. Sorry, bear with me. I have certain favorite brushes that I like to use, and I'm not using them. Alright, so I changed my mind. Not the round. Let's go with the filbert. That's the flat, rounded top. So this we can chisel in an edge or a side, and that's much easier. I'm just keeping my brush wet. You're gonna see now, think about, okay, that side of the bank is gonna be open to you until about there, okay? And then it opens back up to you about right along here. Okay, you see how I'm kind of, that's the against. We're going to put some rocks in there, and then the snow's going to come up over top of that. So, and then in here, we're going to have to put in the insides coming out. You're going to see the bank on the opposite sides. A little darker. Those rocks are going to sit right in there. I'm kind of pressing to make that jaggedy look. Now I'm going to grab a touch of brown as well. Okay, I'm using burnt umber. That might be too red, but we can always cover it up. Yeah, that's too red. All right, I want that other one. And this one is earth brown acrylic. These are all acrylics that I'm using mostly. Once in a while throw in a chalk paint if I don't have a, like that light blue, I don't have that in a chalk paint, so, or an acrylic. So I'm going back over that. See how we're leaving like lines? And this fizzles out away. The brown is a little bit key here because you're going to be putting in snow and you want that little bit of brown because that's your dead fall colors of your grass. We're going to be putting rocks in there. We'll be adding more of that brown when we put that fence in. This, I want to bring in a little bit there. All right. So let's put in some, let's see, let's put in some rocks. Go ahead and use that same brush. Let's get some gray. Start with the dark gray. So you're just gonna make a bump, just some bumps all along here. Okay, and they're going to get smaller as you go up. Let's put a few on the other side. I don't want to go all the way up. You can put some up there, just some marks. That kind of makes it look like there's rocks up there. Tiny as they get further away. Now I have a mess. All right. You can build it up like it's a riverbank, so it's blocking the, you know, the water, the stream from overflowing. So these are getting bigger as you come back down in here. Now let's take your white and mix it kind of into your gray. Let's top some of those rocks. Like there's snow or something, you know, on them. Give them a little bit of... I might change my brush. Because I'm not liking the mark it's leaving on the rock, so... I went to the round, and so now you can shape those rocks. I'm going on top of the rock. As you can see, as I get closer, just want a little bit of a hint. And we'll come back probably in the final touches and make some of these really brighter white. Just so you can see the tops of the rocks. And we'll fade down. We will fade down. When you're doing it, think of which one's in front, which one's down below it. A little variation of some shapes where these rocks are forming. Okay, you can go ahead and if you want to put some marks up in here. I mean, you're gonna have a bunch of things going on, so now I'm try a little bit of the dark mossy green into the gray, and let's make some of these by the water a little bit green because they could be mossy or stained mossy from, you know, earlier in the year. You don't have to do all of them, and yes, I am covering up some of that white. Just the ones that could be touching the water's edge. That way they stand out a little bit from the other rocks. And I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, kind of fill in that water's edge a little bit with this mossy green color while we have it out here. A little bit up here. And it fades. And it fades away. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit darker gray. Come in here. Oops, I didn't want totally black. All right, let's kind of give some of these a little bit different variances, different values. A little bit a medium gray in between the black and the color we put on top of the rocks. All right, I'm gonna quit fiddling with the rocks, okay? So let's go ahead and do the fence line. Now you're gonna need a very small round, and you're gonna water down your black because you're gonna make, and you don't want your fence a straight line. You're gonna make, see how it goes, it's different all the way through it because the land is not straight. So we're gonna go kind of crickety and all that. If crickety is a word. I don't even know if it's a word. All right, so actually let's get that lighter brown that we used before and let's mix some black into that and let's water that down. I don't know if I can show you. I'm doing it right here. So this light brown and black, and then water it down. Because once you start making your little lines, you really don't want to stop. So get that just watery enough so, and get it on the tip of your brush. So just start making your lines and don't, I mean, you don't have to go see what I'm saying? They don't have to be all in a row. I mean, and then I actually wanted to go make them fade away and make them shorter as they go this way because it's going up a hill or away from you. So, sorry, my furnace is evil. And then just make your lines to connect them. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfectly touching each post. Now let's get a tip of white on there. So it kind of looks like there might be snow sitting on that fence. Way, way, way far away. Not enough. You can barely see it, but there we go. That one you can see. But just touch that upper string of fence. I barely see it. I'm gonna go in, try and do that again. Straight white, water it down. Whenever you're trying to water down your white, it probably is easier if you have a separate container, just a little bit of water, rather than if you're using the same thing, same container of water for all your other colors. There we go. And because it doesn't get muddy and your colors won't be mushy and muddy. Go ahead and put a white line beside your post. Just here and there, willy-nilly. All right, we're gonna leave the fence. And now let's work on the snow around. And then we'll get the grass in there. Actually, let's see, we'll probably start drawing the trees. So let's start messing with the snow. I think I don't know if I want my blending brush. I think I'm gonna use my flat again. So, we're going to go back to the whites, the blues, and the grays again. And we're just going to keep layering them. This, we're going to be having, see that blue back there? We want the blue to stay, or we will build that up. All right. I may need another plate. My colors. I don't know how somebody uses one palette. Oh no, I didn't want that in there. I have no idea how they keep all their colors on one palette. So if it makes you feel better, and come into those rocks. You see that brown? We're going to work into that brown. And this is not going to be the only layer, so. But you're going to want to leave some of that gray and some of that blue. And get tinier, as you go into those rocks. Make those movements a little bit tinier as you go away. Because you're getting further away. So I'm going to leave that. Let's go to the other side. If you have to keep loading your white, go ahead. Don't go up into that blue just yet. All right, now, so I want kind of drifts up there, so let's go with a little bit of that darker blue. Use the same brush, and let's make that kind of a motion. And they're tiny. So I'm not gonna worry about that being up in the river. All right, so grab some white. Kind of clean off your brush. But I mean, not all the way. I mean, there's still that blue in there. So just a little bit of that blue and a little bit of that white. So let's go in and kind of do about the same thing. Let's go back up to that fence line. Let's keep putting some layers of color in there. Different. Okay. You can bring it down into this. Blending that down in there. All right, now let's go in with the pure white. And go back up there and let's make some highlighted snowdrifts, okay? Still using the flat. But I'm not watering it down this time, okay? If we can get it going here. I don't have enough on my brush. So just hit maybe the tops of the really light blue that you just got done doing. We're making, that shows shadows and all that was going on up in there, okay? Up into that fence. All right, so let's bring some of that in here. Let's make a couple. Curvy snow drifts away from the shore bank. It's not the ocean, Shannon. Sorry, did I bump you guys? Over top of those rocks, out from those rocks. While we have the white, let's get that river a little bit more white. Let's put some a little is a little frigid. Go back up in. Use the edge of your brush if you have to. All right, now wipe that off, and let's do that. All right, so let's think about where you want your trees. I'm bringing some more of this right up into the rocks, like it's the wave or the ripples coming off that rock a little bit more. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. Do we want anything up in that sky? Let's do one side a little bit darker blue. Come in from one side. Darker blue gray. That's a bit dark. Gotta balance that out on the other side. All right. Drying out my brush. Now I'm coming back with the white again and coming back straight up into that because I don't like that so dark right up in there. And my paper is buckling, that's why I have a weird mark. That's okay. You won't have it on your canvas if that's what you're using. All right, my phone is going low already. That is not a good sign. I may have to come back. All right, let's get the trees up in there, and hopefully I'm gonna be okay yet. All right, I'm gonna use a very thin, and I'm gonna use a mixture of the brown and black to draw the trunks of the trees. Water it down, so you're basically, it's not gonna be dry and stop moving for you. I hope my phone does not die. I thought I was going to be able to get the whole painting, but we may have to come back tomorrow, guys. But let's, all right, in the background, those are the ones we're going to want to get in first. You can put them wherever you want, okay? If you have a steady hand, not like mine. Put them wherever you want, guys. Put very tiny ones in the background. Put them on one side of the fence, and yes, trees do lean, so it doesn't matter. And this guy is going to go on that side. All right, let's go ahead and paint them in. I'm gonna need water. I'm trying not to hurry here so I don't goof this up. They're going to be a little bit more gray in the background, so don't worry about that. This kind of gives you a hint of a tree back there. So now, these branches, really, you don't see them because I don't know if these are aspens or birch or what, but you can just start doing branches. They don't have to be perfect because these guys are in the background. Make sure that they are smaller if they are on the smaller tree. I was thinking about adding a cardinal to one of the closer up ones. Let's see if we can do that. I'll come back and put a little tint of, or a hint of white on those branches. But for right now, I'm just going to get these ones in the background going. And you can actually put some way in the way back there, but I would say they would be really gray, just to, because they're so far away. Now I'm just putting a hint of a root on there. Okay, so let's see, where can I go? Right here. All right, so your tree is like that. You just go up and down, and then do one in front. Okay, you got that? Now, while you're doing these back here, you can add your grass. Like this bunch is going to be standing behind this tree. This one's going to go right in front of this tree. Little one's right there. Okay. Now I'm going to take my black, mix that in a little bit more, and make these little lines in there. Don't need a lot, just a hint. And you can go back up with your black if you want to and add some more branches. Just to give it a little bit more dimension. And this one needs some. When we get to the trees that are more close up, you're going to be getting in a little more detail. I'm going to dry this quick and then add some white back there. Alright, I wish I knew how much battery I had left. I don't want it to die. And I don't have another device I could keep going with tonight. And now, I just, you know when you're on a roll, you don't want to quit? And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. And I'm afraid that when my battery gets low like this, that the quality of the video is not the best. So, just add a little bit of touches of white, like snow is sitting on those branches. So they're not so, you know, sticking out there with nothing going on. Alright, so now let's go to the ones that are a little bit closer. Let's say, you know what, well, there's one here, and there's one here. How many did I put back there? One here and one here. I'm just trying to see how much is all going to be covered up. Actually, there's just two. So let's go ahead and draw them in, outline them. Black and brown, watered down. That should be a song. Black and brown, watered down. All right. So let's put this one in. Remember, they don't have to be straight. Go ahead and add in your branches. Now you're going to get a little more detailed on these. Water, water, water. All right, there's a branch there. We're going to go off of here. That was a little thick. I didn't want that as thick. You can tone that down. That's because I'm trying to go from a to outline that a little bit more. Let's add one here. Excuse me. Just start going up with your branching then. And add your little ones here and there. And we'll come back and add snow. Add your roots. Add your grass. We'll come back and paint that solid white. All right. Guys, I think I'm gonna, let's paint this solid white so you can see the tree actually. Then I think I'm gonna have to stop tonight because my battery is gonna quit on me and I don't wanna lose you guys. So go ahead and come back in down through the center of this. And I'm gonna start with the gray and then I'll come back with the white. Because it is in the background a little bit. That way you can see it a little bit better. Okay, now for the white. I'm coming on one side with the white, okay? Now I'm going back to my little brush. Watering it down. I'm going into white. And I'm going to go up here and add some white to the branches. So it looks like some snow has been on them. And just keep adding that snow to make it look like it's just resting on those branches. Just a swipe here and there. It's where you think it might be setting on. Okay, I'm going to come in here, do these roots a little bit. All right, now I'm going to come in and make those lines in the trunk. See, I'm just making they're always around the branches, so make sure you make marks there, coloring in those roots a little bit more. I'm going to add well, I think I'm going to stop because I know my battery's getting low. Because I could go on and on. Tomorrow night we're going to have to come back and finish this. I'd love to finish. Unless I start later on tonight, I may pop on tonight because I'm on a roll now. Because I want to put that rock in. I want to add some more grasses and yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to charge my phone, guys. And I will come back later. We'll see how fast my phone charges. And then we'll work on it some more. All right? So hopefully if you have any questions, go ahead and just comment and I'll get them answered. So we'll probably see you later. All right, for part 2. Bye.